In the days of the Wild, Wild West, they would hang horse thieves. It was a recognition of the importance of transportation as a part of the American way of life. The penalty for stealing the modern version of a Mustang, though, is not hanging. In fact, for all practical purposes, most states have no penalty at all. Law enforcement simply does not have the resources to fight auto theft. As a result, there's been a national epidemic of stolen cars. These are a few of the 65,000 cars stolen in Michigan in 1989. They are stolen out of suburban shopping malls, from city streets, and rural driveways. Nationally, in the last 5 years, the number of cars stolen has increased by 500,000 a year. Auto theft is big business for thieves, and in the process, fighting auto theft has also become big business. We spend a lot of money trying to stop thieves from stealing our cars. You've probably heard commercials for anti-theft devices like this alarm system, or this steering wheel lock, or maybe you've seen ads for high-tech anti-theft systems.
This is LoJack, the proven recovery system that lets police track and quickly retrieve your stolen car,
in custody,
saving you up to 35% off your comprehensive insurance.
Did you ever think you'd see the day when a car could actually call you if it's being stolen? With Toronto's Visual Information Center and mobile phone, next time it's 11 o'clock, you know where your car is.
This is the new generation of Olds.
tough as the world is today. The world needs Intercept by Code Alarm.
For most of the nation, fighting auto theft has been a losing proposition. The thieves are winning. But in Michigan, it's a far different story. From 1985 to 1989, auto thefts here went down more than 13%. That reduction has saved Michigan motorists millions of dollars. Why is Michigan the exception to the national rule? The difference is a unique partnership between state government, automobile insurers, and automobile owners to fight car theft. It's called the Michigan Automobile Theft Prevention Authority.
The partnership here in Michigan is rather unique because it brings together all of the players who really have a vested interest in trying to curb auto theft. At one time, we thought that fighting auto theft was the responsibility of the law enforcement community. I think that we've grown and matured here in Michigan and recognized that if we're going to lick this problem, there has to be a vested interest on the part of the public and in the business community in this state.
The authority provides funding for nonprofit agencies, law enforcement agencies, prosecuting attorneys throughout the state of Michigan. We're currently funding 95 police officers, full-time, fighting auto theft and undercover surveillance, prevention, deterrent programs. We're also funding 7 full-time prosecutors that handle vertical prosecution, taking a case right from the issue of a warrant right through to court if necessary, and also nonprofit agencies for auto theft prevention awareness programs, the vehicle etching, pamphlets, publications, knowing what to do with your car, how to prevent a car theft. We choose communities on the basis of the severity of the problem, the originality of the program that they have developed to prevent auto theft and fight auto theft, and whether they can carry out the program by their stated goals and objectives.
The grants come from a $1 fee added to every auto insurance policy written on non-commercial passenger vehicles in Michigan. The dollar per car has brought results. For consumers, it translates directly into savings on their auto insurance.
The $1 per car that private passenger vehicle owners pay as an assessment to their insurers and to support the ATPA actually has been in effect for 4 years now. They've paid $4, but overall statewide, the average reduction has been $35 in their comprehensive premiums, or about a 890% return for that $4 investment, which is really outstanding. In our own instance at AAA, in the past 4 years, our comprehensive premiums have been reduced 35.6%, or an average of $58 per policy. This is directly related also to the activities of the Automobile Theft Prevention Authority.
The authority was created to serve Michigan car owners, and it's done that in two ways: by curbing a major crime problem and also by helping to reduce the insurance costs. The $1 a year that the car owners pay is a good bargain, simply because you could reduce the risk of having your car stolen, and also in 1989 they saved about $30. So in my opinion, that's what the authority has done for consumers for the state of Michigan.
Other insurers have also reduced comprehensive rates. According to this report from the Michigan Insurance Bureau, the rate reductions are the direct result of Michigan's successful efforts against auto theft. Automobile theft prevention means cracking down on auto thieves and dealers in stolen automobile parts. The prevention comes from making thieves understand that auto theft is no longer a no-risk proposition.
We've made auto theft in this state not a pleasant business or a pleasant career to be involved in. Criminals know that, and one need only look at the statistics to understand why that's true and what's happening. Over the years, the number of our auto thefts have gone down, the actual steals have gone down. During the same period of time, our arrests and arrests of professional auto thieves has gone up. As these arrests go down, as prevention efforts take hold, thieves see that. They realize that other lines of work are more productive than becoming involved in auto theft. We have funded, through the authority, a number of cooperative law enforcement teams whose sole purpose it is to arrest auto thieves. Through vertical prosecution, we've been able to prosecute those offenders.
The bulk of the $7 million a year in grants goes to support local and regional police anti-theft investigative units.
We knew before we went into business, and we had the cards printed up, we knew right from the beginning what H&B was going to stand for. It wasn't a coincidence, but some thought went into it, and that's pretty much basically what we did. Is first we hooked them and then we booked them. We could not have done this without the ATPA.
Funding for CAT in 1989 was just under $500,000. During the year, CAT officers recovered more than $9 million in stolen cars, a return of $18 for every dollar spent on the program. The CAT team also arrested more than 250 car thieves. Another ATPA-funded investigation culminated with the arrest of this man, who was charged with 112 felony counts of operating a chop shop, altering vehicle identification numbers, and receiving and concealing stolen property.
Basically, we had two locations that we dealt with, the Burnley address and the Merriman address, where an undercover officer made a purchase of an engine which turned out to be stolen, which had its identifying numbers altered. Then that resulted in the search warrants at both of the locations.
This was 8 months of very intensive, very time-consuming work that was done by our unit and by our investigators. Individual departments do not have the time to put into a player such as this.
A second line of ATPA's attack on auto theft is through programs aimed directly at automobile owners. HEAT, an acronym for Help Eliminate Auto Theft, is a statewide program that allows Michigan citizens to put thieves in jail.
Good afternoon, HEAT tip line.
Funded by Michigan insurance companies with assistance from the ATPA, HEAT operates a toll-free line for tips on auto thefts. Rewards of up to $10,000 are given for helpful tips.
At this point, quite frankly, we've paid out in tips some $700,000. We've had vehicle recoveries, parts, vehicle equipment, and so on, of some $10 million, so it's been a tremendous success. And citizens' participation has been a keynote to the program.
But the negative side of this...
The third line for attacking car theft is actually putting thieves in prison. You do that by getting convictions, and that means support for prosecutors' offices.
One of the component parts of a comprehensive statewide auto theft prevention program is what we call the vertical prosecution program. This is where we provide funding for 7 full-time prosecutors in 5 counties who concentrate and do nothing but prosecution of auto theft thieves.
Vertical prosecution is not really a new concept, but it involves assigning one assistant prosecutor or prosecutor to a particular case, which they can follow through from the investigative stages all the way through the trial. In detail, what that means is that the assistant prosecutor can become familiar with the case at its inception stages, follow it through the entire process, and handle the case, and thereby be knowledgeable about the case at every step of the way.
One of the goals of our unit is to reduce plea bargaining in serious auto theft activity. When the program was instituted in our office, we had approximately 21% of those individuals charged were convicted of the original charge. Since that time, it is nearly 70% of those individuals are convicted of the original charge, either by way of trial or after a plea.
ATPA underwrites 33 different automobile theft prevention programs across Michigan, in rough proportion to the volume of auto theft in an area. Each program is evaluated for effectiveness every year. Some of those programs include a Macomb County effort in which decals can be placed on your car. That sticker authorizes police to pull over the vehicle between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m., prime time in the car theft business. The program is strictly voluntary and is especially helpful for seniors who are unlikely to be out during early morning hours. These tow truck operators are honest business people, but in Detroit, dishonest tow truck drivers were stealing disabled cars from the freeways. The Western Wayne Auto Theft Unit ran a 3-day sting program and put them in jail. Statewide programs to etch vehicle identification numbers into windshields. Etched windshields make it tougher to alter VIN plates elsewhere on the vehicle and make a car much less desirable to a thief. And a 5-county investigative task force in the state's southwest corner, a part of Michigan in close proximity to chop shops in northern Indiana and Illinois.
I think the ATPA funds were extremely beneficial in this particular grant since there was no auto theft investigative presence at all in this area before the SCAR unit came in. They came in March of 1988, and since that time, our complaint records indicate a tremendous response to the existence of an auto theft program in southwestern Michigan.
The bottom line on the Automobile Theft Prevention Authority is, in fact, the bottom line. Everyone who buys automobile insurance in Michigan saves money because of ATPA's success.
Well, if you look at some of the larger states like New York or New Jersey, over a 5-year period, the rates of stolen cars has gone up 60%. That translates into an increase in comprehensive rates of about $70 a car per year. Here in Michigan, over the last 5 years, theft rates have gone down 17%, and our comp rates have been reduced a comparable percentage. It's the greatest bargain going today. For every dollar that has been added to your premium to fight auto theft, you've seen a reduction of $8 in your comprehensive premium.
And Michigan's success has become a model for the nation. Others see Michigan's approach as the key to fighting auto theft in their states.
Well, in Illinois, we've developed legislation that our legislature has just passed, creating a auto theft prevention authority. It's actually called an Auto Theft Prevention Council in Illinois that will pretty much imitate what's going on in Michigan based on the results you've had here, and create an authority that will have grant powers to issue grants to various law enforcement agencies, prosecutors' offices, community organizations, business organizations, and the like, to combat all phases of auto theft.
No, we don't hang folks for stealing our Mustangs, but in Michigan, thieves are learning the hard way that the risk is back. Michigan has turned the corner on combating the #1 property crime.
In 1986, Michigan established the first state agency, the Auto Theft Prevention Authority, whose sole purpose it was to impact auto theft from a state level. Through the efforts of ATPA in Michigan, auto theft has declined year after year. I would tell any auto thief in this state that auto theft is no longer a high-profit, low-risk business. The profession is something you should look to leaving. Auto theft and auto thieves in this state will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And what you are facing is not only loss of your future, but also loss of your freedom.